time, we were joined by a rabbi who gave a personal perspective from the Israel side of this conflict. We wanted to talk to you about what it is like day in, day out, living under this current umbrella of violence in that part of the world.
Well, what people have to understand is that it's a war zone in Palestine right now. Being that it's a war zone, lifestyles are nothing of what we would normally be accustomed to here in America. There could be the bombarding of stones, as you had put it before, but what people don't realize is that there's much more efforts on the Israeli parts to make sure that peace and harmony does not exist by the Israeli troops. I was there to witness several beatings of people that were just average daily citizens going into work and coming out of work, being stopped at checkpoints only to be beaten by the soldiers for no apparent reason.
But what is the world to believe, though, when it sees those pictures of the stones being pelted, when it sees the pizzeria blown up? What are those in the West who are not a part of this supposed to believe?
Well, what the people here in the West aren't accustomed to believing, or they are sheltered from seeing, is a provocation that occurs previous to these lash outs and these actions. The media tends to be somewhat one-sided in its efforts to show the truth. In its efforts to show the truth, it conceals what has happened or what does happen on a daily basis previous to the rocks throwing, previous to the bombings of the pizzerias.
So you're saying these pictures are the reactionary events, not the catalysts?
Yes, sir.
You've lost relatives in the violence, and I understand you lost someone in New York City on September 11th as well.
Yes, sir. One of my greatest friends, Yusuf Hamdi, God rest his soul, he had passed away on September 11th in the World Trade Center. I had found that out only 3 weeks after the event had occurred, that he was missing and he was unaccounted for. How do
you view the Palestinian conflict now through the eyes of someone who lives in this country, who has seen what occurred September 11th? Are they two separate things, or are there lessons and lines to be drawn?
Well, in contrast, you cannot compare what has happened September 11th to what's going on in the Middle East, only on the basis that what had happened on September 11th was a group of extremists choosing to change the course of the world and the way of life in America, whereas that was a one-day part of America, and it was a heavily devastated, well-planned event. Whereas in Palestine, people have to incur these dangers on a daily basis by missile attacks, by guns, by troops chasing little kids down, beating them with billy clubs in the middle of the streets to set examples for others.
Let me tell you what I don't hear from you, and I didn't hear from the rabbi I spoke to yesterday, as we've got these envoys, U.S. envoys, trying to bring the two sides together. I don't hear any feeling of hope that there is a way of resolving this.
I honestly have the greatest of hope. I'm very optimistic for the future. However, the future is only forecasted by the present. And if what we have to look for in the present now is violence and is killing and is massive retaliation, then all hope is lost for the future. It is an effort that we should make now to make sure that there is a future.
Ramsey Abdallah, we do appreciate you joining us, and our condolences for your personal losses.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.